Kingston has two bus stations, Fairfield and Cromwell Road, the latter of which is currently closed to allow reconstruction work to take place. To cover for the closure, a new temporary bus stop has been introduced, and I'm here to wait for the 406, which runs between Kingston and Epsom, which the 418 also does, but takes a different route once leaving Tolworth. And here comes the bus, except this one I would have had to pay for, so I let this one go. This is more what I was expecting, a classic older green bus, which is free. The London Bus Museum, which is actually outside of London, was running old heritage buses on Route 406 for the day. Historically, this route ran much further to Redhill, and as the aim of the day was to recreate this old route, I let the first bus go as it was only going to Epsom. 20 minutes after one was scheduled to arrive, a Redhill bus finally showed up, but nobody seemed to get off despite it being the terminus, so it was really busy. I took interest in the luggage racks, which I thought were quite unusual, and a different type of maquette which I haven't seen before. There were all sorts of buses out for the day, including single-deckers, which I noticed as I was passing through Tolworth, near the very border of London and where the 406 and 418 split. The routes kind of run as one, with an every 10-minute section in the core and an every 20-minute section on its separate branches. The 406's branch takes us through a place called Ewell before arriving at Epsom Town Centre, the terminus of the regular 406 route. There's also a school service on the 406 route where twice a day one bus continues towards Epsom Hospital. We didn't terminate at Epsom, of course. We continued on a section of the route where no London bus dares to tread anymore, and also my favourite section, right past Epsom Downs Racecourse. Tadworth Station came next, the only one on the Tattenham Corner branch which I have not used, and then we went underneath the North Downs Way, and then over a level crossing into Reigate, which also has an everyman cinema. And after almost an hour and a half, I made it to Redhill, the terminus of the 406. I went to go and have a look at Redhill Station because it still has a Network Southeast sign. Redhill does seem to still get a London bus, the 405, and I noticed that the old 406 section between Epsom and Redhill seems to be covered by an out-of-London service, the 460 nowadays. Leaving Redhill, though, proved to be tricky, because no bus seemed to be heading back towards Kingston. One arrived, terminated, left, didn't let anybody on, and then a second one arrived and did the same thing. And then a third, and then a fourth. The timetable seemed to have completely crumbled away, whether that be due to traffic problems or because they're old buses, some sort of problem is liable to occur. These running days prove to be really popular, but when you're only running one route, you're having several hundred people waiting at one bus station, rather than being spread out on several different routes. After 45 minutes, a bus to Kingston finally arrived, but the question is, would I be able to get on? Yes, but a lot of people were still left behind, and at subsequent bus stops, nobody could get on. They were left stranded because the bus was too busy. I've bailed at Reigate, which no longer has its Network Southeast sign, but it does have a beautiful old signal box here. There are no trains apparently running on this line today. Welcome to Reigate Town Centre. Gonna have a little wander around here before hopefully getting on another bus. Hoping there's space. First location on our whistle stop tour of Reigate is its tunnel here in Tunnel Road. Recognised as being the oldest road tunnel in Britain, even though it's no longer a road tunnel. In the tunnel you'll find an entrance to Reigate Caves, which you can go in on a priced tour of to discover what was used as a wine cellar. I think this was a very cool first location on my tour of Reigate. I feel I might as well make the most of it if I'm coming out here on the buses to explore as much as possible. In Reigate High Street, I feel like the clock tower here kind of marks the centre of the town. Next up on my tour is Reigate Castle, or the remains of it, which is situated on top of the tunnel. You even get to make your way up to the top, and if you pass through the archway, it leads out into a garden area. I feel this pyramid structure in the middle of the garden might be an entrance down into the old caves. That's not the only possible entrance I've found. Once you make your way down to the bottom of the castle grounds, you get to see just how steep it is actually built on top of the hill. My last location on the tour of Reigate was Priory Park, which is quite a large park to the south of the town. But hang on, the Greensand Way passes through here too. That means I'll be back one day. I did come to Reigate once about 6 years ago, so there's good memories that are being brought up from visiting. And I remember from the hill in the park here, you get good views overlooking the North Downs. And of course I can't come into Priory Park if it is named after a priory that's still there and not come and have a look at it. And I noticed when leaving the park that there is a pet cemetery with 6 graves, something you can easily walk past and miss. Back to the bus stop, and it seems like during my time in Reigate the other buses have soaked up the passengers, meaning that there is space for me to jump on.
They did a really nice picture of that. Really good.
So I've bailed from the buses again here at Epsom Downs, which is my favourite racecourse. I love that you can come straight into the middle of it and walk across. Some race courses you can't access the grounds at all. And I have a story to tell about my first visit here, because in a way it was kind of the beginning of my adventures. I was travelling the length of every single bus route in London, and one day I did the 166 to Epsom Hospital. It runs 3 times an hour, but only one of the 3 runs all the way through to Epsom. The other 2 terminate in a place called Banstead. And what I would do when I got to the end of a route is I would either just get straight onto another bus, or I'd make a train connection to another route, or I'd just head home, or I'd kind of backtrack on myself if the route was kind of very isolated terminus. I didn't explore much when I got to the end, except for when I did the 166. That was the first time I'd really thought to myself, right, I'm going to walk somewhere and go and explore something. And I chose Epsom Downs Racecourse because I saw it on the map and I thought, that would be pretty cool to go and visit. From Epsom Town Centre, I walked all the way down Ashley Road, quite a lengthy walk, it's over a mile, and I will never forget the feeling of when I came out of the road with the trees lining alongside it, out onto the downs, out into this kind of open field, and found out I could access the middle of the racecourse and come and stand where I'm standing now. And it was a very quiet evening, there was no one around, and it was just a really, really brilliant end to the day. And I didn't quite know how I was going to get home. I thought maybe I'd find some sort of path back towards a 166 bus stop, but I didn't realise that Tattenham Corner station over there, which ironically is the closest station to Epsom Downs Racecourse, even though there's an Epsom Downs station, is in the Oyster Zone, it's in Zone 6, so I travelled the length of that railway. back in towards London, back home. But if I didn't do that walk down here to the racecourse, I probably wouldn't have then explored at the terminuses of other bus routes that I did. From that fascination of wanting to explore new places, that led me on to doing the London Loop and the Capital Ring, long distance circular paths around London, and then eventually my own walks that I came up with, the ones which I'm doing now, the ones which I record and make videos of me doing. Today's not a walk, of course, it's a slightly different adventure, but the walks which I am doing, they kind of stem from this place. So Epsom Downs means a lot to me. Very special place. You get some good views as well from up here on Epsom Downs, and I've been back several times, including once very early in the morning for sunrise after I travelled on some night bus routes. What I've since learned about the Ashley Road is that off to the side of it in the woods, you have the entrance to Epsom War Bunker, and it is quite an epic entryway tucked down here into it. It used to be accessible. You used to be able to kind of squeeze your way in through the door and wander your way down, but they've put a proper like sealed door across it now. No access anymore, but it's cool that it still remains here. It's really weird because I know what's behind those doors, and yet I'll never be able to see it ever again.
Yo, is there a hole?
What's down there?
Aye, someone go there.
Who wants to climb through it?
George.
Why do I have, why do you nominate me?
George, come on.
Frank Frosty.
Come on, George, we love you.
Back out on the Ashley Road, I came across a specially branded British European Airways route master, which I thought was quite cool. Shame I didn't get on that one. Made it down into Epsom's town centre now, where the closure of this Poundland has unearthed what looks to be an old Woolworths sign. The buses have stopped running for the day though, so I'm not going to be able to make my way back to Kingston, so I'm instead going to use Epsom Station. The entrance to Epsom Station is relatively new and is tucked away behind the town centre, which is probably the reason why I've never used it before, or even come to have a look at it. It has some nice old posters as well lining the staircase depicting local places and history. Epsom Station was also one of the last to accept Oyster card payments before contactless became the preferred way of expanding to new stations. That's a contributing factor as to why I never got around to using it before, and as nice as the day out on the buses was, I'm glad I ended here at Epsom rather than catch one of the buses back to Kingston.
Oh, just treading on my foot.
We love you, Georgie. We do. We love you, Georgie. We do. We love you, Georgie. We do. There goes the...
We love you. Jumping out, will you?